okay with death. And this got me thinking, because I'm an absurdist, right? I study philosophy, and I'm very much an absurdist, but I'm also very spiritual. And one thing that I get from people is, oh, don't those two things contradict. On one hand, you believe everything is meaningless, but yet on the other hand, you attribute all this meaning to life and the universe and whatever, right? And, my answer was always that these two things can kind of coexist within themselves within me, without stirring up any issues, right? And I kind of think that those two things always coexisted really well. And after watching Midnight Gospel, it only kind of reassured me that those two things have a lot in common, actually. One thing that absurdism and my personal spiritual beliefs have in common is that it really teaches you to be okay with death. Absurdism really teaches you how to be okay with death. And so does being very spiritual. And depending on your beliefs, you either believe in reincarnation or you become one with the universe, whatever it is you believe, right? But either way, both spirituality and absurdism teaches you how to be okay with death. And that's something that I've been working on kind of my whole life, because the idea of death mortifies me. Funny. But yeah, no, it mortifies me. And whenever I think about death, I hyperventilate. Because I don't like to think about it too much. I can't picture myself not being here. But within the episode, Midnight Gospel, she was saying that one of the characters was saying that we attribute too much. We consider ourselves special cases. Like, we know death is a part of life. We know that within life, things come and things go. And yet, we consider ourselves special cases. And that's when ego death comes in. Because with the death of the ego is followed by a kind of acceptance of, how do I say this? It comes with the acceptance of knowing that we are not a special case, that we are just like everyone else, just like anything else. And I think that's when absurdism comes into play, because absurdism also teaches us that we are not special in any way. There's nothing special about us. We are just like anything else and everything else, and just as everything else, we will also come and go, right? And another thing that I think absurdism and, being spiritual, I don't even know what the exact word is, but like what my personal spiritual beliefs kind of teach me, at least, is to be kind of mindful. It forces me to practice mindfulness. It makes me stay in the moment. It makes me be focused on the present. Because absurdism is all about, it's a more positive take on existentialism, right? And people like to, think that existentialism and nihilism and absurdism are all the same thing, but they're not, right? They're absolutely not the same thing. Absurdism, which was, I think people say Camus was the father of absurdism, right? So his philosophy was that life is meaningless, there's no meaning to anything, you're gonna die someday, might as well live as best as you can and be mindful of the moment. Like, when you read The Stranger, yeah, there's a lot of fucked up things that happen, but one thing you see with Monsieur Rousseau is that he appreciates the sun and the warmth of the sun on his skin and the water, I think it was the ocean. He appreciates little things like that, which makes bigger things not much of a big deal. I read the book maybe like 4 years ago, and from what I can remember from it, I think the book starts like mom died today or yesterday, I don't remember. So it starts off something like that, right? And I think that was a very popular line, a popular beginning of a book, because people seem to attribute a lot of meaning to death, right? Within the book, I don't want to spoil it, but basically, people couldn't believe how much they antagonized him for not attributing so much meaning to his mother's death, right? But he had an obvious appreciation for life. He really showed us how much, little things mean to him. That's not to say we shouldn't appreciate or we shouldn't mourn someone, because it's only human to mourn people. But in a lot of cultures, they don't have funerals. They don't have these, or not funerals. They don't have, what are they, funerals. They don't have fucking funerals. They don't have this sad kind of ceremony.